February is Black History Month. It's a time to honor the achievements of African Americans and recognize their role here in U.S. history.
And joining us today is former Idaho Senator and founder of Sojourners Coaching, former Senator Cherie Buckner-Webb. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here, on the news at 4 with Brendan and I just want to say, you know, as we kick off Black History Month, I think sometimes this gets overly simplified. What is Black History Month, and why do you think it's important that we observe it?
More than just the fact that I'm a black woman, it's a time of acknowledgement and reflection, celebration, commemorating, including, and the black history that we talk about, black history, it's our history. It's our cities, our countries, our states. We need to understand that black history is more than just for black people.
I also wanted, you are a big part of Idaho's Black history, really breaking records here. So I want to talk about that. How has that impacted our community here in Idaho?
Well, you know, I don't really know how it's impacted, but one of the things that I was hoping it would do, and I know it has done, has encouraged others to step up and step out. Because there were so few of us for so long, you didn't know how you'd be perceived, and you didn't know how it would work, you don't know what would be positive or negative, but folks are stepping up, they're working together, they're working across difference, they're working across communities, and making a huge difference in Idaho. And now people purposefully are coming to Idaho. I talked to a young man 2 nights ago that moved to Idaho. In fact, his mother came with him on the plane, and then I called her last night to say, I'll be his distant auntie. And he's working for HP because she said, Idaho, son? An African-American young, why Idaho? She just couldn't conceive of it because we're such a small population by comparison. So people are purposefully making decisions to come here.
But a very mighty community, I will say, though.
Yeah. And a very diverse black community.
A few weeks ago at the Idaho State House during the MLK celebration, you sang beautifully as a part of Rabbi Fink's, speech that day. And when you're singing and you bring us back into a very different time, when you reflect back on where we've been and where we are now, I guess how would you describe the changes you've seen here in our community over the last several years, last decades? You
know, it's not either or, it's and both. Because some of our accomplishments have been great and terrific, and yet there are pockets of things that are still really not well. And if you listen to Rabbi Fink, which you did, you know that he made mention of many of the things. We still have a long way to go. For us, not just black folks, for black and white folks living in harmony, for people of other races and ethnicities, we've got a lot of work to do, and we need to do it together.
And I think you made a really good point, too, because, you know, I know we'll get comments. I know people say, well, Black History Month is just for that community. It's not, though.
I think not.
It's for our whole community.
And we are part of the builders of this nation, this state, and we just got to realize that we are part of the opportunity. Maybe folks don't know anybody next door or whatever, but we are part of the solution. We are innovators, we're creative, we do things in a different way, and everybody brings something unique to the party. Let's use it.
Now, I want to make sure that I touch on this. I think it's very important, but when you were in office, you made this, or helped make this, a timeline, the Black history here in Idaho. Our last here, a bit of a nugget there is 2010. I mean, is this something that we're going to be able to see be continued?
Well, this was not done in the legislature. It was done by the Idaho Black History Museum, and our volunteers are our life's blood. And a couple of volunteers worked hard to put it together, and it's time to bring somebody in and do it again. You know, there's so much work, so many things that take precedence over time, but I'm glad you brought it to my attention, so I'll share that. I think that's a great idea. We don't want to think that all has stopped because there's the 2010 on the calendar.
Right. It continues.
Yes, yes.
Well, there are so many different ways that we can celebrate here in Idaho, and we're going to be celebrating here on the news at 4 and honoring all month long, and we're going to bring you those events so you can also participate. But thank you so much for joining us today.
We'll
be right back after this.
All right.